The diplomatic summit on Thraxis Prime was supposed to be routine. Ambassador Kalen had attended dozens of these gatherings, representing humanity among the Galactic Council's most influential species. The Thraxians were apex predators, their society built on strength, precision, and an unwavering hierarchy that had endured for millennia. They respected power, dismissed weakness, and viewed compassion as a curious human eccentricity. Kalen stood in the Grand Plaza, surrounded by towering Thraxian dignitaries whose silver-furred bodies rippled with muscle beneath ceremonial armor. Their eyes, sharp and amber, tracked every movement with predatory focus. The summit discussions had been tense: trade agreements, territorial disputes, resource allocation. Humanity's voice was small here, tolerated but not truly respected. Then she saw him that a small figure emerged from behind a crystalline pillar, moving with a pronounced limp. The cub couldn't have been more than 5 standard years old, his silver fur patchy and dull compared to the lustrous coats of the adults. His right hind leg dragged slightly, and even from a distance, Kalen could see the careful way he distributed his weight to avoid pain. The cub's amber eyes locked onto hers with startling intensity. He began moving toward her, his limp becoming more obvious with each step. The plaza fell silent. Conversations died mid-sentence. Every Thraxian present turned to watch, their bodies tensing with an emotion Kalen couldn't quite identify. She knelt slowly, bringing herself to the cub's eye level. "Hey there," she said softly, her translator rendering the words into gentle Thraxian tones. "What's your name?" "Vash," the cub whispered, stopping just beyond arm's reach. His small frame trembled, whether from pain or fear, Kalen couldn't tell. Behind Vash, the entire gathering had formed a semicircle. The pack elders stood at the forefront, their expressions unreadable but their posture rigid with expectation. Kalen felt the weight of hundreds of eyes upon her, watching, waiting, judging. "Your leg hurts," Kalen observed, keeping her voice calm and even. She didn't reach out, didn't move closer. She simply waited. Vash nodded, his ears flattening against his skull. "The medics say there is nothing wrong. The scans show no damage. But it hurts. It always hurts." Kalen's heart clenched. She'd heard this story before, in different forms, across different species. Pain without visible cause. Suffering that defied technological diagnosis. In the Thraxian culture, where strength was everything, such a condition would be devastating, especially for a cub. "May I look?" she asked, extending her hand palm up in a gesture of offering, not demand. Vash glanced back at the gathered pack. An elderly Thraxian, her muzzle grayed with age and her armor bearing the marks of countless battles, gave a barely perceptible nod. The cub turned back to Kalen and stepped forward, finally closing the distance between them. Kalen gently examined Vash's leg, her fingers moving with practiced care. She'd been a field medic before joining the diplomatic corps, and old instincts died hard. The leg felt normal, no swelling, no heat, no obvious deformity. But she noticed how Vash flinched when she touched certain areas, how his breathing quickened with phantom pain. "The machines can't always see everything," Kalen said quietly, speaking as much to Vash as to the watching pack. "Sometimes the problem isn't in the bone or the muscle. Sometimes it's in how the body remembers." She looked up at the pack elders. Was there an injury? Something that healed physically but left a mark in other ways. The gray-muzzled elder stepped forward. 6 months ago, Vash was caught in a training accident. A beam collapsed. His leg was crushed. Our best surgeons rebuilt it perfectly. Scans show complete recovery. But he still limps. He still claims to feel pain. In our society, such weakness. She trailed off, but the implication hung heavy in the air. Kalen understood. A cub who couldn't hunt, couldn't fight, couldn't keep pace with the pack. Such a cub had no future among the Thraxians. The expectation wasn't that she would heal Vash. It was that she would confirm what their medics had already concluded, that nothing was wrong, that the cub was simply weak, defective, unsuitable for their society. But Kalen had seen this before. Phantom limb pain, psychosomatic conditions, the body's complex relationship with trauma that went beyond the physical. She'd treated human soldiers who bore no visible scars but carried wounds that technology couldn't measure. She turned her full attention back to Vash. "I believe you," she said simply. "The pain is real. Your body remembers being hurt, even if the injury is gone. It's trying to protect you, but it's remembering wrong. Vash's eyes widened. In that moment, Kalen realized no one had ever said those words to him. No one had believed him. No one had validated his experience. Can you fix it? Vash asked, his voice barely audible. Not the way your medics tried, Kalen admitted. This isn't something I can scan away or cut out. But I can teach you how to help your body remember differently. It'll take time. It'll take patience. It won't be easy. She looked up at the pack again. And it'll require everyone to understand that strength isn't just about never feeling pain. Sometimes it's about acknowledging pain and working through it anyway. The plaza remained silent. Kalen could feel the collective judgment of an entire species weighing her words. The Thoraxians didn't do patience. They didn't do gradual healing or psychological rehabilitation. They valued immediate results, measurable outcomes, quantifiable strength. The gray-muzzled elder studied Kalen with those sharp amber eyes. When she finally spoke, her voice carried across the plaza with undeniable authority. You would take responsibility for his recovery? You would stake your reputation on a cub our own medics have declared beyond help. Kalen met her gaze steadily. I would stake my reputation on the fact that sometimes the bravest thing a person can do is admit they're hurt and ask for help. If that's not strength, I don't know what is. A ripple moved through the assembled pack. Kalen couldn't read it. Surprise, perhaps, or disagreement, or something else entirely. But Vash pressed closer to her, his small body trembling with something that might have been hope. The elder's ears twitched forward, a gesture Kalen had learned meant approval. Then we entrust him to you, Ambassador. Show us this human way of healing. Show us if compassion can succeed where our technology has failed. Kalen placed a gentle hand on Vash's shoulder. We'll figure this out together, she promised. And as the cub leaned into her touch, she felt the weight of not just his recovery, but perhaps of changing how an entire species understood the relationship between strength and vulnerability. The summit would continue. The negotiations would resume. But in this moment, in this plaza, something more important had begun. A small cub learning to trust again, and a pack learning that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their strategy, that it was their refusal to give up on anyone, no matter how broken they seemed.